Alright. We are live, I think. I think so. Alright, let's see. That shit. It's a bit. Yeah, there you go. That's better. Is audio good? Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, it is good. Okay. Oh yes, this is not that bad. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna trust that this thing is live. Public? Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's loud, goddamn. A little bit. That's whatever. No, it needs to be something a little bit more chill, but that should be fine. Yeah, that's good enough. Hey, Dr. Cam, how you doing, man? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying new OBS. I'm telling Streamlabs OBS to go suck a dick, basically. How you doing, Dr. Game? I'm gonna mispronounce the fuck out of that name. I'm sorry. Ayad Mohammed. I know the last one, I think. How y'all doing? Now, look at what I bought. This shit cost me a fucking kidney. Okay, but I think it's gonna be fuck the music for now. Goddamn. We're gonna be watching some videos, but the music is. The keyboard placement has to be like that, dude. I don't have a lot of real estate around here, so this shit already eats up half. The keyboard is, the mouse is fine because it's wireless. Look at this shit. Isn't this a very, very beautiful fucking thing? Goddamn, look at that shit, man. Why is this camera more fucking high quality than my webcam? But okay. For now, yeah, it should be like this. Another thing that I bought, I wanted to show you guys. Look at this beautiful thing. Hold on a second. Okay. Beautiful thing here. Look at this. I also bought, for those who are on Discord, you probably already seen it, but look at this magnificent fucking beauty. Look at this. Like, PlayStation has been taking a few L's here and there, but look at this fucking controller, man. Isn't this goddamn gorgeous? Good. And I didn't put the buttons in the back here for now, but the thing that you can adjust the toggle here so it can be just like a tap for NBA 2K is amazing for that shit. Like, you don't need the whole trigger. Look at this. Function buttons here to enable profiles. This shit is... I didn't expect this to be that good. But yeah, there you go. Comes with a... Like, the attention to detail, or at the very least for the consumer. Look at this. Remember having hard cases like this? Look at this shit. Goddamn gorgeous, man. I absolutely prefer PlayStation. Because from a standpoint of being a PC player, you're not going to get much. Like, you get the exclusives of PlayStation if you get a PlayStation. And then if you play PC, you pretty much get everything from Xbox, right? There's very few games that the Xbox doesn't carry over to PC, so might as well, you know. So, yeah, look at that shit. Fancy, huh? But I'm definitely more PlayStation. Even just from the case of... the quality of the consoles at the very least. I mean, I think they're giving up on Xbox, to be honest. aren't they? Which cams do you use? This one is my phone, right? The phone. I mean, the phone has a dedicated processor, so obviously it's gonna record a little bit better. But this one is a C920, which I'm fucking tired of. But DSLR cameras, not only they're very expensive, even if you buy a used one, they're bulky. You know, like you need some space to place them, and I kind of do, but I prefer not to for now do that shit. But yeah, and ergonomic. This thing is very ergonomic, very light. You gotta get used to this shit because this weighs very less. Yeah, the Sony A8. Yeah, that's a beautiful camera to have. I've been wanting to get like at the very least a used one. Shit, I don't want to spend too much money. All I need is full HD, not 4K or anything like that. Just good saturations and color palettes, and that should be fine. Now let's open this shit that obviously comes. Ooh, okay, hold on a second. No, I'm already fucking up. So, you know, I'm terrible at these things. Oh, no, I got it. When I can't even open the box, right? I want to put some music, but I don't know. Like, today I'm not in a vibe. Should I put copyright? I want to do copyrighted music, to be honest. But I want to record in the background, so let's just... Well, I could have fucking done that if I just... I gotta do some audio splitting at some point. I'll try that shit later. But how y'all doing, man? The Kinect, well, as a camera quality, I'm not sure if I can attest to that, but the Sony, I'm not sure if that's the one that you're talking about, but there's a Sony that is really good. Okay, so you know, I don't want to do so much damage to the box because I love how these boxes look. There you go. I was ready to go nuclear on that shit there. Saw this thing, wasn't on discount or anything like that, but always wanted to have this goddamn fucking beautiful car. There you go. Trustworthy instructions, the stickers. Ooh, we got the chassis actually as a whole fucking a separate thing. Hold on a second. That's a little bit better. Because I'll be holding, yeah, there you go. I also wanted to talk about something very specific, like the Stop Killing Games thing. You know that dude? Let me just make sure I got this right. No. You know that dude? That has been so vocal about that shit, the Stop Killing Games thing. I always had a bad... How should I say it? A bad taste in my mouth every time like he talked. Like, this guy seems a very self-centered and shit like that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me just open it on YouTube. What is his name? PirateSoftware, right? So this guy started doing shorts, and from very early on, I always was a bit... My foot was a bit stepped back. It sounded nice. The shorts had good quality because it was just like general life advices and shit like that, but his demeanor kind of put up a flag. Yeah, he is an asshole, but only now people are kind of realizing that shit. Like 4.3 million out of...
Noticed over the last 10 or 11 months I've been a lot happier, glowing, really radiant.
So
you
imagine,
can tell probably just from my voice alone and this.
I don't know why YouTube is doing this shit, but imagine being someone like this guy, right? So dedicated to restore games. Like you start, he's not like an owner of any corporation as far as I'm concerned. Ross here, he doesn't have any, like he doesn't have a company, he doesn't represent anything. From a dream as a teenager to have something that he got upset from very early on, that games should always be available no matter if they are online and whatnot. To see that and have the crazy wild take of, you know what, I'm not okay with this, with a guy fighting for games to be worth their money and to sustain when we pay for them. Like, it's crazy. But it is insane even more when the guy is a Nepo baby. So this guy, PirateSoftware, I actually would like to see his original video. That's what I wanted to react to. But PirateSoftware here, this motherfucker, right? Being a guy that worked on Blizzard, which is already a huge red flag in itself. Being a Nepo baby because the dad was the one that put him there. To see this guy that just doesn't represent anything, just being upset and being able to raise, and I participated in that shit. If you're from the European Union, you can register to actually pass what they call initiative It's on 1.2 million or something like that. To see one single guy drive such a big movement and say, you know what, I want to kill it. God damn, man. So yeah, it's at 1.3. They need 1.4 so that the fake bots or whatever the fuck don't really bring this down, right? So they need that shit. And I already signed this and all that. I have the receipt and all. But we need to hit 1.4 just to maybe kind of like they need 1.2 officially, but assuming that 200,000 people were bots or some shit like that, right? So yeah, that's insane that one single guy he has a problem with that shit. But let me just open this before I get sidetracked a little. Did you sign the petition? Yes, I did. You got to register with your actual ID and all that shit. So imagine this is not just people. Sorry. This is not just people that were like, you know what, I'll click on a button. No, you have to go get your fucking wallet to get your ID number, that if you are in the European Union, right? Register that, put your first name, answer like 2 questions or whatever about your personal information, and you actually have to go through the effort, and I did, right? This is 1.3 people, let's round it up to 1.1, eliminating the bots. 1.1 million people who are like, you know what, no, this pisses me the fuck off. How can anybody say this? Look at this, right? People usually you gotta move mountains to make people sign anything. This is staggering. Like this is not easy to achieve, and you see this and be like, nah, I find it a stupid idea. Go fuck yourself, man. That's insane. That's insane to me. You didn't have to use your ID. I did, and I'm not sure if the ones that they don't have IDs are gonna be the ones like they were like, oh, these don't count because they may not be official, whatever. Let me just, I don't want to. Oops. Let's not touch anything. But it is insane, man. He does have some videos like did he delete his video? PirateSoftware, I mean. His takes were so fucking trash. He kept ignoring what was the main point of the whole like nobody's asking for companies to sustain something for infinite amount of time. There's never been what is proposed. The only thing that we want is do like EA or specifically Battlefield 3 and 4. If you play the games right now, the browsers are still up, but they're not managed by EA or DICE or whatever. They're managed by the community. They rent the servers and they get some sort of monetization by whitelisting the servers and all that. But it is run by the community. Do that. We're talking about EA, goddamn. One of the most greediest fucking companies in the world. Even EA does that. Even with Battlefield, they were like, you know what? Let's just let the community run the game. We don't longer want to support that shit because it costs money to run servers. But let them have their game. Bruv, that's all we want. That's insane, man. Oh, I haven't been recording. That's nice. Okay. But it is insane, right? It just has to have an end plan, yeah. But bro, his dad worked at Blizzard, so your argument and opinion is invalid. Absolutely. It's insane. But from the very start, like before, like he started to blow up, it was always crazy to me what that guy managed to do, and I was always like with a bit like a little bit weirded out. All this positive energy usually means there's something hiding, you know what I mean? So yeah, let me just focus a little bit here. So bag 1, they have this thing in sequence, which I like. Some of them don't start with sequences. Right. But yeah, absolutely. Like, we don't ask them to sustain. Let me just talk about this again so I can record this actual clip, okay? But yeah. Let me just get a frame here of what he said. Doesn't he talk about him? A response, okay.
In the campaign has been tried out regardless and lonely video technical blind that came out because of video, which could understandably turn off
PirateSoftware. Stop. Not a video per se, but maybe shorts, we'll see. I want to make a video, but I'm very like the idea that I have in my head. I'm not sure. I need to do low effort on the idea that I have, because I don't think it's worth me doing the whole scripting and shit like that. Oh, okay, so he's talking about it. Okay,
Hi,
at least he didn't.
my name
delete
is
it.
Jason Thor Hall, also known as PirateSoftware Online. I've been in the gaming industry for about 20 years. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment, then Amazon Game Studios, and now I own my own studio, Pirate Software, by the same name, which is an indie studio, and I've been here for about 8 years now. I also run a massive community. We've got about 180,000 people in Discord, and most of what I do is try to teach other people how to make games, teach them that they can make games, show them the tools to do so, and try to do everything without any paywalls or bullshit in the way. It's incredibly important to me that we keep making games and that the next generation has the tools to do so that our medium doesn't die out. And it never will. And that's the whole intention of all of this. So with that in mind, that community brought me this and tried to get me to sign it. And I don't want to. Number one, I can't because I don't live in Europe. But number two, I wouldn't sign it even if I could. And I'm going to kind of go through this and try to explain the reasoning as to why that would be the case, without all of the internet hate machine that's grown up around it. So let's go into how this works and why this is an issue to me. First things first, what is an initiative? So an initiative is actually not law. It is something that you put together so you can put it up in front of representatives and they can start the conversation. The reason why I have a problem with Stop Killing Games is specifically it starts the wrong conversation. If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a single-player experience, and then taking away support in the future, this ain't it. And the reason why is specifically on this initiative, under its own description, it says, this initiative calls to require publishers that sell or license video games to consumers in the European Union or related features and assets sold for video games they operate to leave said video games in a functional playable state. Specifically, the initiative seeks to prevent the remote disabling of video games by the publishers before providing reasonable means to continue functioning of said video games without the involvement from the side of the publisher. This isn't always possible in all video games, and it doesn't call out the specific practice that this is supposedly trying to defeat. It is incredibly vague and will damage all live service games. How
No shit is vague, is initiative. And first, like this argument that he has of he in his mind, we're asking, oh, even if the game is dead, right? The company has to support that. The servers have to be up. They gotta run. That's not what the initiative has ever been about. Again, I'll give the example of EA, the most greediest fucking company, video game company there is out there. Even with Battlefield 3 and 4, you can still run the servers. You know what their solution was? Oh, let's just give them like some sort of developer kit so that they can integrate their hosted server or even their own, I guess, peer-to-peer, like running out of their router if you do some forwarding, in order for other people to play. You have the means to do that, and we're talking about the EA game. They just gave it to community. They don't spend any money with servers. Nobody is asking them to do it. And they just think it's... I don't know, this guy thinks... how should I put this in one, in one precise way? We don't want companies, or they can completely about to forget the game. It's just that at the last minute, when you say, well, we had to cancel the game, we got to stop supporting it, just leave it in a functional state. That's it. You don't have... Give the tools some minimum shit, something that allows us to be like, you know what? I want to run a server. I'm going to make money out of whitelisting servers if it needs to be or whatever. Cool. All right? But leave us that option. We're not asking for the game to be up for eternity, for you to spend money on servers and keep that shit up for people that, even if it's like 5 people playing the game, just leave it in a functional state. It doesn't cost you more money than just having one final moment where we're going to seize any concern about this game. We're not going to touch it. We're going to keep selling, I guess. That they do. But we're just going to leave it as is. Right? That's all we want. This guy keeps misconstruing the point that, oh, what people really want is is not possible for a company to maintain the game forever. That's not what we're asking. We're asking the game to be in a functional state, not maintain it. That's all we're asking. It's 20 years of game development. It's just quality assurance. Yes, yeah, pretty much. And pen testing, by the way. No real game development, and his code is apparently absolute ass. You have this video of this guy.
Hi, my name is Jason Thor Hall.
I reviewed, what is his name? PirateSoftware code. Like, that's actually my first search right there. No, you have more. Okay, so oh, it's Coding Jesus. This is the same guy. Wasn't there like a meme of him, if this, if, and it was just like a bunch of lines for different possible IP variations, which is dog shit. It is the worst. He didn't even use a switch. He used if this, the if server. Like, it's not a hacker. I'm not even sure if that was a joke. Maybe I hope that was made as a joke. But his code is kind of like that, like spaghetti code, like shit that works, but could have been a lot better. You know what I mean? Maybe it doesn't even work. Who knows? I don't know. That's crazy, man. I know a bit about coding. Again, I know the basic, right? Don't ask me to make a fucking game unless I'm using Construct, and even that shit. To be honest, I'm lost. But I know how to read code at the very least.
Because literally anything would be better than this. What is up, guys? Coding Jesus here. Guys, today we will be doing a code review of a popular YouTuber and streamer by the name of Thor or PirateSoftware. Now, why should you care, and who the hell is Thor? Well, Thor has been the talk of the town as of recently, as he's been an extremely large streamer that has come out against a pro-consumer movement in the gaming space called Stop Killing Games.
Also, by the way, this is a beautiful example of the Barbra Streisand effect. And ironically, he gave us more attention. Like, people started signing in spite of him. Like, we needed a villain, we got the villain. Now people are signing that shit by the horde. Like, it's amazing. So thank you. Actually, I'm not sure if he's actually doing that on purpose. I doubt it. But if it was, it would be a genius move. Like, here's a proof, guys, that I planned this months ago. Y'all needed a villain to push you to sign this petition, and there we go. Like, I'm sorry, nobody can be stupid enough that you call yourself to be a fan of games, see that shit and be like, you know, I think this initiative is shit. Yeah, giving consumer the power to fucking who wants that? We don't want that in our games, man. Ridiculous.
Stop Killing Games is an initiative launched by a man.
Well, I don't want to steal the guy's video. Let me just. Okay, so he talks about him, but there is part of the code. Okay.
Wrong about this, and I don't even need to be a game dev to understand that. When you look at the code here, what do you see? You see a lot of magic numbers. That's an industry term for numbers that don't have any description or explanation as to what they are or why they exist. And you also have a lot of true or false, which is not descriptive at all. When you look at any function call as another developer, you should understand what's going on without needing to read through the implementation of the actual method itself. So part type sprite, part type size, I don't need to read through that to understand what's being passed to it and what it's doing. But that's not what's going on here. I shouldn't need to ask myself, what is this number 1? What is the 0? What does it signify? Right? Imagine we have a car object, and I create the car object by passing in 96 for false false. Do you have any idea about what?
You're gonna have to, yeah, you actually have to class. You're gonna basically have to click on the class, open the class, and read basically every argument that goes into it. Not sure exactly what he's suggesting here, like how to prevent that, because in my coding experience, like, everybody fucking does this. Like, they write immense amount of arguments inside, and then it's just true, false, true, number, something, and if you read the class, you're not going to be able to decipher what all these arguments are for, how many there are. It gets very confusing. But my experience is that a lot of people do it. But maybe he's right. This shouldn't be happening, but it is a reality that unfortunately happens a lot. But yeah. What's happening on Discord, man? Oh, there you go. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Doctor. That's exactly it. Look at this shit. This has to be a joke, right? Nah, this has to be a joke. I don't know the context of this image, but this has to be a joke, dude. He has to be sarcastic because there's no way somebody would ever be like, you know what? The way we can decipher IP addresses is by running a if. It's not even a switch, dude. It's just ifs. Nah, this can't be real, man. Nah, this can't be real. I think it's a joke. I don't know, man. I seen it as well. I just really hope it's a joke. It's edited. It has to be a joke, man. It has to be a joke. He couldn't have been that bad.
What those numbers mean. How I'm initializing that car. You don't. A step above that, a better alternative would be to specify in words what 96 means. For example, unsigned 32-bit integer horsepower equals 96. Number of unsive would be to specify in words what 96 means.
Oh. Yeah. But I mean, in the end of the day, okay, so let me see. Oh. Okay, I see what he's doing. I do like, again, in my experience, nobody did this shit. But it did make it less readable. But to translate this into, I guess, easier terms for those who don't know much about coding or whatever. So you're going to have a class. I'm not going to explain a class because it's a very convoluted shit to explain. It's simple. It's the simplest form of organization in terms of like C# and shit like that. But you have your class, your object, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And you're going to have multiple arguments that go into that. Like you can see here, car, and then there's like things inside, right? And they're separated by commas. And in terms of coding, like he was saying here, you can just have a number if you want, just 1, false, whatever, without any explanation. And you set the Boolean values there, or number values, whatever, the floats, whatever. You set that shit yourself while you're writing the argument itself. But the class itself should have, in its written form already, for example, the horsepower have a default of enabled, right? If it's a Boolean, put it true, right? In this case, horsepower is a number. Let's go, no, is automatic, right? Obviously, usually you're going to set as false, unless you want to say, hey, I do want is automatic true, right? So the way that he's doing here is a lot better than this, because you're setting, the coding wise, the only thing that needs to be proper is the order, right? You have to say, okay, so this is the third argument. For the third argument, false. For the fourth one, false. For the fifth, true, right? But instead, you can just have the actual name of it and say is automatic instead of just saying true. I don't know what the fuck is true. So if you write it this way, you're just going to say, oh, is automatic, is electric, right? So yeah, that is a great way to do it. Again, I was a rookie, right? I was very on the junior level. This guy says that has been working for years and has a company in himself. I would hope that he knows more than me, right? So he makes his code look big with all the numbers and bogus unoptimized code, yeah. I mean, this is not terrible. This is not going to break a game or some shit like that, right? But it is going to be, in a way, confusing to read.
Means, for example,
is a readability problem.
32-bit integer horsepower equals 96. Number of doors equals 4. Is automatic equals false. Is electric equals false. And then pass that into the construction of car. That is the bare minimum. That's what I would expect out of an intern that's fresh out of school.
You know what I mean? Like, but here's the thing. The reality is I was in game development. I was in CRM development. So we're talking about CRMs, basically, I already forgot the name of the shit. Customer relationship management, I think it was. So basically HR, software that takes care of that shit, right? And even with that, in our company, we had people that had years of experience also doing this shit. Like, they didn't bother to say, hey, this argument is automatic, is this. There were some that did it. Like, I remember this guy that came off of college. I think it was still in college, and the guy was already implementing all that shit. The guy was perfect in terms of readability. The guy was great on that, which made us not be very confused about his code. Like, if I had to pick up his code, it would be pretty simple. But the average is this. Now, I was a junior. A lot of people around me were juniors, right? And we had a few seniors that also did this shit, right? So it's not crazy, but For fuck's sake. If you're gonna make a whole thing about my experiences as a game development is all these years and I worked at Blizzard and shit, I would expect you to know this, right? So I will give you a point on that one. Pull up PirateSoftware and use Paint to explain with boxes. I did like that shit. That was a very simplistic way of explaining things.
Cool. Taking that a step further, you can implement a concept called strong typing, which is the most expressive form of instantiation. What we can do in that case is define an alias at the bare minimum.
So strong type, I'm not going to explain it too deep, but strong typed is, in a very summarized way, a very controlling way. You don't allow for a lot of creativity, let's say, on the part of the coder. Like, you don't have a lot of liberty to just make a bunch of shit in it. Strong type means you have to stick with these parameters and nothing more, right? So strong type is essentially what it means. Again, I'm not going to get into details because I don't want to make it too technical, but that's what it is.
Or a class, and we can call it horsepower. And then we can create an enumeration for things like transmission or fuel. And then we'd alter the car's constructor and pass in that information. Horsepower 98, door number 4, transmission automatic, fuel gasoline. You don't need to be a game developer to know that that's a lot more maintainable than whatever Thor has here.
So he had the version that he has is the up one, the top one. Yeah. Like he's saying, you just describe pretty much every argument instead of just plastering the values in there.
Another really good example of that is at 2556. So if we jump there, okay, right here. Alarm 0, alarm 1, alarm 2. What is that? What are those alarms? Is it an alarm for person A, an alarm for whatever character, an alarm to do what? It's unexpressive. It's really spaghetti code in my
Wait, that is the definition of spaghetti code. The fuck is this? Stop making objects. Alarm 0 equals 0. So it's just basically like, okay. He's setting... I need to put this on. I can't zoom it. That's unfortunate. But right here, right? So he has an array of 0, which would be the first item, equating to 0. So he's basically defaulting every single alarm that is in the list, in this case an array, to 0. I mean, you can pull this, again, you can pull this off because you have very little, right? Because you only have like 6 here, right? He will explain, like, this guy, I'm not going to overstep coding Jesus here.
And 4 minutes. This is also a complete mess for a couple of reasons. First of all, Thor is using the incorrect data types. This isn't even getting to some sort of advanced design or design pattern. It's showing a complete lack of understanding how to represent information in a program. Okay? What do I mean by that? Well, look at question asked equals 0. Question asked, in my opinion, is true or false. Has this question been asked? It should be a Boolean data type.
That is true. Why? Why? Yeah, 0 false, 1 true, but I mean... Yo, is he not using a fucking Boolean here? Is he just actual using a numeral? No.
What does 0 mean?
Of course, okay.
Booleans are represented as integers under the hood. So in C++, anything that isn't 0 is true. So 1 is true.
Yeah, 1 is true.
But why would you even give another developer the option to write question asked equals 42?
Yeah, like he's not using a Boolean, dude. I'm sorry, I was a junior. I was really bad at what I did, by the way. I wasn't that great. I mean, but I was a junior. I had 1 year of experience in programming, like from scratch. I didn't go through college or whatever. Dude, there's no fucking way you're gonna put question true equal, which in coding means you use it for integer numbers. Like, so it's just for numbers. You put equal, true or false for Booleans, right? The equal is essentially what we in math equate to an actual equal mark, right? So in C#, C++, which is this case, by the way, which is not a huge difference, but whatever. Equal is the same as the equal in math, but the equal in coding is not the same as the equal in math. It is just saying this is that, right? So it's a is, right? So yeah, he's just like he's equating it to a number one. What the fuck, man? But I'm gonna be honest, the memes have been made due to this drama have been gold so far. This is hilarious, man. This is hilarious.
In theory, that should be true, because anything other than 0 is true, but why even allow somebody to write code that can potentially be that confusing? It's just a no-go. Another thing here that I noticed is the absurd amount of comments. Most of the time, you don't need to write comments in your code. That's because your code should be self-documenting. But there is a 1 to 5% case rate in which you should be writing comments only if your code is extremely complex. And that's not the case here. This is a simple if statement and a simple switch statement. You don't need to add comments.
That's true. That is so true. If the question dialog option is a question, we have asked the question. Like, what are these comments for? Why is it step by step? We have asked the question. The question has been asked. Dude, what the fuck? You said question asked. It's here, man. You don't need a comment. That's hilarious.
Comments here. Having a comment for we have asked the question and question asks equals 1 is totally superfluous, a waste of time, a waste of space. I'm not sure why it was added, if not just to waste time on a dev stream, to spend more time pretending you're coding than watching videos. Okay, let's take a look at his second stream, because the rest of this stream is reviewing other games, looking at his subscription count. I don't know why he gets so horny looking at this.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I did pick this up from that guy, right? He's a bit self-absorbed. Even when he was growing, like, people didn't find a problem. If you had a bad comment about him, people would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? People would get really butthurt about that shit. But I always felt like this dude, the way he speaks, I don't know, man, there's something about it. And only now people are kind of like, I guess, dropping the pink shades and realizing, well, this guy's a bit self-absorbed, isn't he? Even though there's not technically, like, anything too wrong about it, like, checking your subscriber account, but he does it a bit frequently, doesn't he? But yeah. Hey man, remember me? My name was Black Speed. I changed it a long time ago. Hey, how you doing, man? I remember you as Aaron Smith. How you doing? I think I do. Just pour this before I fucking. What the fuck? Or my comments are hijacking something so... What? How is Red Dead Redemption 2 childish, man? Has health regeneration checkpoint like my baby. I mean, it doesn't have to be a try-hard game. And I like try-hard games. Like, I like simulators and shit like that, but Red Dead Redemption 2 doesn't have to be that.
Games, etc. You guys get the point. Storyline array number. Oh my god.
Whoa. What the fuck is he trying to do here? What? I am so confused. Hold on a second. My brain is a bit foggy too. Where is he seeing that shit? Instance destroy. Storyline array 419. What is that supposed to be? Okay, I'm actually kind of bought. Who is in this scene? Shelly being number 1. Is that an animation? Wait, what the fuck is happening here?
Appears to be storing a timeline of events in a flat one-dimensional array with random numbers as the indices in order to represent said event. So literally anything would be an upgrade over what is written here. For example, what he could have done is created a nested structure where all of those default values, instead of being hard-coded and written in some file, can simply be stored in a YAML or configuration file that can be edited outside of the build as to not waste time rebuilding the entire application.
I'm completely lost on this one. This one is very much video game development, right? This is more.
in a YAML or XML format. That's development 101. You learn it in the first week of your new job as either an intern or a junior developer. What's even worse is he now also needs to remember what 419 means. So somewhere in his code, he needs to actually add a comment or something to represent what 419 is. As you can see here,
No. No. My eyes. My eye. Give me some fucking bleach. What is What the fuck? Yo. Nah. Nah, that's crazy. That's wild. That's wild. He actually, this is not generated like procedurally generated. He had to comment each one of these fucking array numbers. He literally made a list of what, storyline events? What?
found the file that contains all these events, which are the association between a magic number and some state. It's very obvious that this can get very unwieldy extremely quickly. As you can see here, he has some number associated with 0, 1, or even 2, and then he needs to detail in a comment what that means. Now, imagine a developer accidentally puts 2 here or 3. Finding, tracking, and solving that bug is really going to be a development nightmare.
True.
What if you forget to type 3 here and accidentally type 2? And start associating coffee cold knowledge with 4-2 coffee age. Or even worse, in your code somewhere, instead of typing 213, you type 214, and now need to go back and track why your game is misbehaving.
So, this being Boolean, I'm not really sure. Like this one, I'm not going to pretend that I know the alternative to this thing. All I know is that this array is absolutely fucking confusing as shit. Like, the purpose of usually an array is so that you don't have to go each by one by list and have it to comment. Like, you had to set a default by every single array and comment every single one of them. So as a developer, you actually have to go inside of this to be like, oh, let me see what 216 is. Like, what? Wow. This is very confusing, dude.
This is extremely poor practice and can get very messy very quickly. Not only that, but this is going to significantly decrease.
And it's so confusing that in this one, for example, the value can be 0 or 1, which is he's going for the Boolean logic of no or yes. But then you have this one, 2, 1, 10, that is cafe or coffee obtained 0, 1, 2. So you have 3 possible values. So no, yes, and delivery something. Why are we matching? I'm sure there has to have a purpose for that. It's just that on an array, you usually you don't change data sets. So somebody correct me on that one. But you usually don't change that shit either.
The velocity of your development, because you're going to need to jump between the storyline vars file, find the event you want to reference somewhere else in code, and go back to that line that you'd like to reference the event in.
Yeah.
So you're going to...
So basically what he's saying is that for each array of these, right, for storyline array, class, object, whatever, you have to go to actual storyline vars, which is the file where this is contained, to go check each one of them, and then go back to the file that you were editing, and that's absolutely dog shit. Even if you use something like an IDE that allows you to press control and click on it, and it redirects you to this project, to this, excuse me, file. You still have to open another file for no goddamn reason. Right? Is anything above 1 also just true? Yes, by default, but I'm not even sure, because 1, 2, 3, there's multiple states that he wants to have with this. I don't know, man. This array is very confusing. Subscribers have been I haven't been making any new videos either way, so don't worry too much about it.
Constantly need to be jumping between files, forgetting, potentially mistyping, and it's just a recipe for disaster. When it comes to the nested structure, though, tell me what you think is better. what Thor has here or what I have on screen, which in my
So let me just decipher a little bit. This might be above my paid grade. Oh, okay. So yeah, he's not doing an array. Yeah, like this is very basic. He's not doing an array for something that usually you use an array for numbers that you don't have a significance for. So numbers that literally mean that they're numbers, right? So this is the first item, this is the second, the third. If you're creating a list, if you're creating a query, right, where people are represented by numbers, right, on a list, okay, you know, like you're not gonna with databases that get inserted new data, you're not gonna really be putting the person's name or whatever the fuck in the name of the thing, right? But in this case, right, you can have description for the mission event, right? Like he's saying here, global story, and then in the shop, cashier is angry, right? So that's an event that you can understand immediately. Oh, so this is for when the cashier in this level is angry or whatever the fuck. I have no context for this specific thing. Yeah, that's a whole lot better than any array. An array is literally for databases and, you know, numbers that really don't have to mean anything at that point. They're going to be used to basically identify each entry, pretty much, right? Why EA is the most hated company and is still alive? Why? Huh? You're just throwing video ideas?
opinion is much more expressive. Now, this goes beyond simply liking code better. What I have on screen is objectively better because it makes it harder for you and others to make mistakes, and it's a lot clearer as to what's going on. I don't even need to know how this game is designed to understand that whatever he's doing here is not optimal. I also don't need to recommend the most optimal data structure because literally anything would be better than this. Another thing that's really, really weird is that he's using these numbers to represent people, and now everywhere he writes the number 1 and when it represents a person, he needs to remember that it's Shelly, which is presumably a game character. Imagine removing all these comments. Would you, as a newly added game...
That's what I was saying. You're not just gonna go for fucking comments all over. Like that is just not doable, man. That is just not doable. Goddamn. Let me just put this up.
developer to his game project have any idea that 1 is Shelly? You would have no idea. This would never ever be allowed in a production repository, and I've been hinting, it's below what you'd expect of a bottom tier intern. One way to improve this is to write case and then switch on an enumeration. So case character Shelly. That is way, way better to whatever he has here. Another example is at 159. More magic numbers, 32. What does message 32 mean? What does message 65 mean? What does message 97 mean? And what are these dialogue options 2, 5, 6, 0?
Why does he like numbers so much? But he doesn't even have just this. Data types, so basically we already went through this. But this guy should just make his whole fucking living out of this. It's even worse. Come on, man. I want to check that out. Come on. Give me
The idea is pretty clear here. Just how absolutely abysmal this is for performance.
What's up, guys? CJ here. Now, in my last video on this topic, I mentioned that...
Okay.
Oh, let's get into it. I want to start by observing his lighting engine by...
I mean, with no disrespect, it's just that I'm reacting to
by
this.
taking a look at the file draw light. Let's take a look at this draw light method and hone in on the first case statement. Let's break down at a high level what's going on here. Thor loops over every pixel in a sprite, checking if each pixel touches or overlaps with a certain object. If it does, it then applies a light effect repeatedly, and with each repeat, it makes that light fade more diffuse.
What? I got to can't you see? I don't have to explain what is on the camera, man. Draw. Oh man, my fucking stomach is killing me right now. Holy shit. Ooh. Yeah, I've been taking some fucking painkillers that really fuck me up right now. Sorry about this. Sometimes you're gonna see me suffer. Ugh, why now, man? Every single time I play in the stream, this happens. Something happens. So let me see. So this is the poor man's RTX from what I'm seeing. So is he really analyzing each pixel by the distance, I'm assuming. So the more it scatters from the object, the weaker it gets. And then he has like a sequential here of adding, keep adding.
He then draws said colored pixels at that location to simulate the light fall off. Now, let's say your sprite is 128 by 128 pixels. That's 16,384 position checks he's doing per frame per light source. If he has multiple light sources or is trying to run at 60 FPS, you will feel the lag. Now, he actually checks collisions twice for each pixel, and he doesn't have any early exit should his second instance of that check not execute. If light diffuse is 5, it's possible that he does an additional 4 iterations that returns false every single time. In the case that we have the exact same 128 by 128 pixel sprite, that is not just 16,384 checks. That's 98,304 checks at worst. What's worse is if you observe the second case, where light comes from the right instead of the left, you'll notice that Thor copied and pasted the entire left code into the right code's case, only changing the signage of light distance. What he could have done here is handled both right and left in the same case and simply applied the signage to light distance based off the direction of the light, and also applied the direction in which we iterate in the for loop differently based off that same signage. How do we improve upon the code here? Well, we really don't.
Yeah,
we throw it out in favor of layers.
You know, it's bad when someone like, how do you fix this? You don't. You burn the fucking thing. Man, how bad you gotta be for that shit, man. Is Rockstar Games sexist? What are you on about, man? In GTA 5, there is no point in the story. They value women. What? I don't even know what point are you driving. I'm sorry. Okay. But yeah, like this does seem like a mess.
Surfaces and shaders. I decided to bring on a game dev who has years of experience in GameMaker, working not only on his own hobby projects, but also as a contractor for a studio in order to explain this fundamental concept.
I'll just draw a little diagram. This is basically how his code works. He has a sprite that basically looks something like this. This is sort of like a beam shape, kind of what you'd expect from like a beam of light. For every pixel in the sprite, so each one of these is a pixel. It's basically going in the draw event and doing a collision check at like each pixel. And it's basically checking and checking and checking. And if the pixel is on the sprite, it'll draw it. This is the starting point over here. And the farther away the pixel is from the starting point.
Yeah, so basically, like, the code is running at every single goddamn... Just the fact that you're saying every single goddamn pixel is analyzed per frame, so the code repeats every goddamn frame. What is he doing? Even if the game is like a 2D kind of like Doom kind of sort of fucking shit from the past, like this is very like, this is not how you do it, and you don't have to be a game developer to know this.
Blends it differently, and that'll create some kind of gradients. But yeah, this is a terrible way of doing it. I drew like 5 pixels here. This is like super scaled up. A sprite like this would be like hundreds and hundreds of pixels, and to check each of them on the X and the Y like coordinate, like every single frame for every single like object doing this is gonna be like abysmal for performance.
Yeah,
the way that I had suggested would be better is you have the sprite, same one, and also any other sprites you want to do this with. So keep in mind, if you're using this system, every single other object that's like a light beam or whatever is going to have to run this code like independently of each other. With this method, all the objects at once, say you just have some random other objects over here that you also wanted to be light sources or something, I guess. All of them at once can draw themselves onto a surface. A surface is basically a picture almost, just made of pixels. You can
Okay, let me just
and
go
these
to the
things, like,
end.
square here onto this white surface, while the chunk out of this lighting system.
Yeah, so he's
would
going to
go
provide an
around.
alternative that is going to go get past right by
I
us.
suppose you could do some weird stuff to get it to rotate.
But
Very
all we know is that analyzing each fucking pixel, each frame, goddamn, dude.
suboptimal. With this, like drastic
Level 5 fish reinforce.
and it's much better for performance, like drastically.
To really reinforce why this is classified as a major issue in Pirate Software's code, Level 5 Fish decided to profile it against his own surface-based implementation. The comparison code is available on GitHub, linked in the description, and the full 7-minute explanation by Level 5 Fish is available for my patrons and junior dev level channel members. Here's the 2-minute summary.
So I've taken the lighting code and I've imported it into GameMaker. Now, the only things I've changed are this line right here, where it says it's just a conditional basically, and I've just replaced it with true, meaning it's always going to run. And the reason for doing that is because whenever this was here, it would just flicker. So I just took it out. The other thing is I've added this variable here. This will allow us to track how many times a pixel is drawn. So every time this line is run, it will add to this value here. If I press T, it'll display that value, and we can see how many times it's running and how many times it's doing a collision check. I have this sprite here. This is a 800 by 100 sprite, so somewhat large, but not absurdly large. And is
Okay, it's still going on the same.
Everything this happens where FPS.
Okay, so this is the
It's
big
the way
boys
that
talking. Like,
Pirates
even
Software
to me,
got-
this shit is like way too advanced.
Dialogue in this game. Now, the way that he does so...
My god, he does love a raise, dude. God damn. Yeah, but who made a really good video about this was Actman about PirateSoftware, or Stop Killing Games, actually. Yeah, I think he's gonna make another one. Like, this shit is just a fucking gold mine when it comes to, like, how can you perceive yourself, like, as a guy who makes a lot of shorts about being consumer friendly and shit like that, and doing this, man. 1.4 million, look at this. This video is, I really like it. You go check it out on Actman.
Hi there, I'm a soulless corporate CEO, and today I've taken a break from one of my favorite hobbies, devouring the blood of infants. And I'm here to ask a question. Is a gamer not entitled to the contents of this disc? No. Do you like owning
No.
things? Are you proud of the time you spend working for a paycheck to be able to afford basic comforts like entertainment? Well, that's too bad, because I'm here to steal all of that from you. You will own nothing and be happy. Yes, this includes your precious video games. We're gonna keep killing them, and there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
Even though killing the crew is not too bad, I'm just gonna live that shit.
Soldiers, get set for a combat drop, okay? New major order just came in from command. Our mission is to stop killing games.
You fucked up my face.
This is part of the Stop Killing Games initiative, and just in the last 3 days, this initiative has gained over 100,000 new signatures.
Are we blind? Deploy the garrison!
And its entire goal,
Dude, look at the fucking difference. So you saw what I just... Well,
signatures.
Are we blind?
so, this was at that point, like, this was like 2 weeks ago. 500,000 barely, right? And it was this like the whole initiative? EU petition, right? This is the again the EU petition, EU petition. Goddamn, we are at 1.3, man, in 2 fucking weeks. God damn, people are fucking upset, dude. Over 700,000, absolutely, yeah. Good lord.
Deploy the garrison!
And its entire goal is game preservation. Now, we have until July 31st to get all of these signatures, and I think we can get it done. Stop Killing Video Games is an initiative.
And technically, we already are over that shit, so we needed 1.2, I think. It's just that they say, well, 1.4 is usually what is like the estimate. So we can fall a little bit short on that, but it would be good for us to go for 1.4, right? And then that shit is going to be talked at a European Parliament level. Invalid signatures, we may need at least 1.4 million, right? So UK citizens and residents can sign a petition Oh, this is the UK government. I already did this shit, but like, just so you can see what we're talking about. Right. So, yeah, 1.3. 1 billion gold. Yeah, that would be great. Wait, what I was looking for? Hold on. Oh yeah, they say here that it should. So it says something about 1.2. Okay, so for a European Citizens Initiative to be valid, it must obtain at least 1 million valid signatures. So that's the minimum requirement, and meet the minimum thresholds in at least 7 countries. But here's the thing: they say, well, they speculate usually for every million, there's like 400,000 that might be invalid for one reason or another, right? So they need to secure that shit too.
Initiative as straightforward as those 4 words.
As a refresher, Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement to stop publishers from effectively destroying video games they have already sold to customers.
This movement was started by a channel called Accursed Farms and a creator who goes by Ross. He has been hard at work promoting something that benefits all of us. If you buy games, play them, or even if you do neither, and you only watch someone stream games, this affects you. But now is the time for any passionate gamer to throw their full support behind this. He recently posted an hour-long video detailing basically the start and the end of the entire movement. It's a really good watch. I'll have it linked in the description and pinned comment, but I'll let Ross sum up.
The quick legal argument is that the vast majority of games with an online requirement say they can be terminated at any time for any reason. Or Blizzard likes to say...
So, like, imagine that shit with any other thing, right? Like, you buy... I don't know, a fucking... hairdryer, which goes right past me. But imagine you... And you have a 2-year warranty, at the very least in Europe, in my country. You have a guarantee 2 years. Imagine if they just sell a fucking hairdryer that somehow has, like, a fucking chip in it that says, you know what? We're gonna change this. This thing is not gonna emit heat anymore. This is gonna be all cold. Like, no, I want my money back. What the fuck are you talking about? You just changed the goddamn object, like the goddamn product that I wanted. I wanted certain features on this hairdryer, and you're changing it completely. I want my money back. I think that should extend, to be honest, in that specific regard, not about wear and tear. The fact that you change a product midway, it should be lifetime. Like, that warranty should be, okay, you want to do more, you want to update the game and do more things, cool. And I wouldn't be upset if, after I pay for the game, you give me a certain update, right? You give me this and that, and then you say, oh shit, we have to remove it. I don't mind, because that's something that went over what I already paid for, right? But from the moment I pay for a game and there's this feature list and I have access to all these, and then all of a sudden you go like, nah, we're going to take away from that shit. Like, no, then give me at least equivalent of my money there. Like, you took away 10% of the game, give me 10% of my money. Because that's absolutely no fucking way they're just going to steal shit from me. That's stealing, dude. That's stealing. Switch to being bricked when you breathe at it wrong. Well, yeah, well, don't give Nintendo any ideas, dude. But... yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah.
Any or no reason. That might be a violation of Directive 9313 EEC, which protects consumers against unfair terms in consumer contracts.
Yep.
So if that term is unfair, that means that part of the contract is null and void. And if it's null and void, then what does the law say about how long your purchase lasts? Well, it doesn't. That's the whole mess.
What a horrible, evil man. Can you believe the nerve of this guy wanting to save all of us some money? Has this guy even considered the various multi-billion-dollar corporations? We're lucky enough to just be able to buy their products, don't you see? And they should be allowed the freedom to destroy our products whenever they want for any reason at any time.
Blizzard says they can take away your purchase for no reason. Our problem is those terms are so hostile to consumers and the medium that they should be taken off the table entirely.
It is something so uncontroversial, normal. It's surprising how few people are open critics of this movement. But there is at least one.
Oh shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit.
But like the creator,
It is so ironic that he says, "Oh, this is used car salesman shit," and you're the one protecting like fucking products that get obsolete at some point. Like they get readily obsolete. What the fuck are you talking about? No. Apparently, when you use the wrong USB-C cable, Nintendo breaks your shit. Really? That wouldn't surprise me. Like even this controller, like the PlayStation, it came with a specific USB, which is just a beefier one, but I think it still works with others. I charge it with others. Like that's insane. Like I said, Nintendo is just, goddamn it. To be honest, we may actually be in the clear now. I think so. Well, this is what is this supposed to mean? Like what? This is not. Is this 1.5? Yeah. That would. Wait. No. What the fuck? What is this limit here? I don't know what the fuck is this supposed to be. If we're already at 1.3, what is this, 2 million? Because this is a million goal. We already got that. I don't know. This part is very confusing. But yeah, we most likely already got it. And UK has another one themselves. Like, I don't even know how the fuck we need so many, like 1.4. Like, we need that many for you to do something about this. Like, god damn. These politicians do not want to work.
of Stop Killing Games, I don't want this video to just be a drama video, especially when something much more important is at stake. Just be patient. We'll be pirating some software soon. But before we get into that, all you need is One Punch Man, a series that just collabed with the sponsor of today's video,
Okay.
Crystal Event NPS.
That took me a while to recognize
Play
it was
it,
a net.
choose for Class Nation with Torn. I'd say it looks pretty fire.
Incinerate!
Download and play Crystal of Atlan for free using the links below.
Okay.
What this really is a battle for consumer rights. Do you consume? Do you love consuming? Obviously, this is one of the least controversial things that has ever happened in the worldwide gaming community. And I truly mean that. You could not come up with a more inoffensive movement if you tried. Let's see if we can try. Are you in favor of the Stop Slaughtering Baby Seals with Machetes movement? Are you against that?
This is shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to.
And I encourage everyone who lives in the UK and is watching this to sign the initiative. That will also be linked down below. Let's get it done. Looking at you, France and Germany.
But you know what this is also very sad is that the Americans, if they have a problem with this, they don't get to complain to anybody. Like, you have a fucking government yourself and you go like, nah, yeah. Because you have no means. Like, if you want to pass a fucking initiative, something for discussion, at very least a referendum, whatever, to the American government, what you're supposed to do. You can't do shit. Like, the fuck, y'all have no power on that shit. God damn. I mean, the European Union is not much better, but at least we have, like, hey, here's 1.4 million people complaining about this. How about we do something about it? At least talk about it.
Germany.
This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Remember your training and fight. Put together, troopers. We're still in this.
I must commend and congratulate Ross. Getting over
By
600,000
himself.
people to click a document and sign it is no easy feat. Least of all, getting 600,000 gamers to agree on something. The last time that many gamers agreed on anything, it became the most downvoted Reddit comment of all time. So Ross, I think you are well within your right to enjoy this moment of pride and accomplishment. The reason this initiative is being pushed forward in the European Union is so it can open negotiations for companies to become legally obligated to preserve their games in some way, or at the very least allowing
Oh, the WhatsApp thing is for work mainly, so yeah. It's just because I had to mirror it.
consumers to preserve the games. The point is this
Oh,
movement is
I'm sorry. Consumer rights watchdog in Brazil is suing Nintendo because of the bricking crap. Oh, there you go. It's deserved.
very pro-publisher. It leaves that choice up to the publisher. They have multiple options. It's really such a convincing argument, even if you are on the side of like game publisher, corporate executive type guy. As seen with The Crew, publishers like Ubisoft are fine with abruptly shutting down their games, eliminating all online functionality, and offering no recourse for people who want to play that game, maybe now, maybe somewhere down the line, and then offering no recourse for the player.
Is this good for the player?
And here's the phrase that really scares corporations, okay? Make sure you don't repeat this anywhere, okay? It's very offensive, all right? If buying isn't owning, piracy isn't stealing.
It's gonna be my status in every single fucking social media I have, because that's on the dot, dude. That's exactly it, dude. Fuck out of here with that shit.
It's important to note that Stop Killing Games is not retroactive. It is not unreasonable. It would not force every developer to turn on the servers for every dead game and keep them running indefinitely. Who's gonna do that for our boy Concord? It's the team that made...
Let it die. Let it die. We don't need that one. Leave that one fucking dead. We don't need that one.
Mag? Do I have Mag? I fucking do. Is the team that made Mag gonna have a high school reunion? This might actually be like a completely dead game. Is this playable in any way? Let me know in the comments. PlayStation Move? What the fuck? And you could make a whole ass video on why video game preservation is important. But let me just give you a personal example. There's a game called Command & Conquer Renegade, which, as far as I'm aware, nothing even comes close to its concept. It mixes RTS mechanics
It looks
with
so
first
fun,
and third-person shooter fundamentals. It would have been an utter tragedy if, when the GameSpy servers shut down, the game went with it. And here's where things are getting weird, because now I'm gonna give EA some props too. In a rare...
Yo, EA, I'm telling you, man, when it comes to this Stop Killing Game shit, I'm sure they had terrible examples of not preserving games, but I look at Battlefield 3, I look at Battlefield 4, right? That's exactly what they did. They just say, you know what? Let's give it to the community. We're not gonna preserve the game to a point where we're gonna spend money with servers, and that's not what we're asking. Like guys like PirateSoftware, they're not understanding that we don't ask that from these companies. You don't need to upkeep the game forever and sustaining server costs and all that. Just give us the reins. Give us a tool, an SDK or software kit, whatever you want to call it. Just give us something that we can use to host our own servers in that. Those being host servers by Cloudflare or whatever the fuck, or our own routing. Like, I recently bought Armor Reforger. That shit has official servers, but if that shit is gone, Bohemia Interactive doesn't want to do servers anymore. It's mostly community driven. Like, most of them is operated by people who have, like, Exodus server and all these servers. It's all community based. And it's a brand new game that just came out. Like, well, not really just came out, but it's hitting peak right now. Right? That's not, no, we're not asking for the company to, you know, basically preserve that game until they die. No, just give us tools to preserve that shit. That's it.
Example of EA doing something good. They have allowed a team of passionate fans to resurrect Command & Conquer Renegade with their own free-to-play mod, Renegade X. You know, video game...
Even Rockstar can take a lesson here. Like, they didn't bitch... Well, actually, Rockstar bought the modding team because they realized, well, we can't win against them. But EA did the exact same shit here. Like, they were like, oh, you know what? Like, what do we have to lose? People might still buy the game, install the mod, and play it. There's no loss. Like, okay, you don't want to preserve the cost. Like, you don't want to keep up with the cost. Okay, that's fine. Give up on the game, but at the very least, let people preserve that shit, you know what I mean?
Games are a great escape for people, and there's something comforting knowing that one day, you know, you can go back and play something that you did years ago. Game preservation is important, and it's not just for random niche games.
Here's a list of some popular games that are all at risk of being destroyed at some time in the future. The Stop Killing Games movement sees any of these being destroyed as a problem, and they're exactly the kinds of games that would start being protected if the initiative passed.
There's no way to be against the Stop Killing Games movement in a way that is pro-consumer or pro-gamer. And if it ain't pro-gamer, then I'm a big hater. Stop Killing Games was stuck around 400,000 signatures for months, and it seemed all hope was lost.
Fucking
Who deserves credit for this sudden resurgence?
Man, what if he's just playing dumb, you know? Like, he's actually behind the curtains going like, yeah, we're getting this shit. People just need something to hate. That would not be a crazy theory, because people are driven by negativity. I know we have had this in the past. It's just that if he wants to pull that shit, he better have some evidence to like, hey guys, I planned this for months. Here's me holding the newspaper at that day. You know what I mean? But yeah, that would be a great move. I love Adobe's business practice. I love paying an early cancellation fee because I realize that their products and licenses suck. There you go. At least you get to get away from that shit. I never really stuck even foot on fucking Adobe products, man. I mean, as well. Like, I try, like, you know, you have Photoshop portables and shit like that, which I'm not even sure what's the legality of that thing. But, I don't know. Because it seemed like it was something that was leaked by the developers themselves. I don't know. Something like that. But, you know, Adobe is just like, what you paying for, man? The right to use a fucking product that is going to crash on you 3 times. Like.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Mr. Software. Now, unfortunately, Ross had done just about everything he could think of to push to get those 1 million signatures. And this guy is one hell of a diplomat. Very nice demeanor, passionate about games, doesn't really show any malice, hatred, contempt towards publishers or anyone. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone that could actively dislike a guy like Ross.
Sorry, just to inform you, like, this seems like the handbrake, right? It's gonna be the handbrake. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be the handbrake. Look at that shit.
Let alone publicly.
Okay, I really don't want to do this next part, but it's become a liability for the campaign for me not to. Our biggest critic by far is YouTuber and streamer PirateSoftware. If your only exposure to Stop Killing Games has been this video, then you've been misinformed. This video is by some...
I'm sorry, I'm stopping a lot, but look at this. Lego is a bunch of geniuses. Look at this. The microphone item that they have. What is this? The fucking shift gear, right? That's actually genius, man. That's actually quite genius. Gotta give it to Lego, dude. Everything is a dildo if you're brave enough. Well, I guess everything can be a shift gear if you're brave enough.
Someone who does not understand the campaign has been trying to stop it and has been making up what it is about.
Let's get scurvy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get scurvy. PirateSoftware has been the most vocal, outspoken critic of the Stop Killing Games movement. Not
Goddamn, I'm thinking of ending it. I'm sorry, just my fucking stomach. God damn. Oh, that DaVinci Resolve, absolutely. One-time purchase and all-in-one software that does everything. Even if you don't, if you actually need to pay, because there's a lot of features that you can do on a free one. Free updates, yeah, absolutely. Ah, fuck. Okay, yeah. Now I'm sorry. I've been taking, like, my shoulder's been fucked up. I've been taking some medicine that is really fucking up my stomach. I gotta go later. I'm sorry, Dr. Game. I'll try to do this later. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Ooh, yeah, sorry. You also don't want to see me shit myself on stream, so that would give good content, but I gotta go. Sorry, this was really short, and anybody watching, I'm really sorry, but I'll try to do this later, alright? See you next time. Ah, fucking hell.